If you had to pick one dream and abandon all others, what dream would you choose? What life would you live? What relationships would you build? And what bridges would you burn? If you had to burn the boats, what shore would you choose to step onto with both feet? I don't know if you know this, but often the thing holding you back from having direction in your life is having too many directions in your life. You cannot travel north, south, east, and west simultaneously. You must choose one. This concept is even more important in the modern world than ever before. Why? Because today we have access to so many options and directions that we have become crippled by the paradox of choice. No longer are you quite as limited to whatever station or occupation of the family that you are born into. No longer are you limited to chopping enough wood and gathering enough food just to survive the next winter. No, you have more options than any other generation of human beings that has ever lived. You can become a millionaire memorizing TikTok dances or by recording your child unboxing toys. It is a madhouse where it seems like anyone can become anything for no reason at all. The rules have changed, and yes, it is absolutely overwhelming. Trying to find direction and purpose and meaning for most people will feel like an impossible task. I'm reminded of a certain verse from the Bible. You can enter God's kingdom only through the narrow gate. The highway to hell, on the other hand, is broad, and its gate is wide for the many that choose that way. The gateway to life is very narrow, and the road is difficult, and only a few find it. I think that this imagery of the narrow path to heaven and the wide highway to hell speaks to this paradox of choice that we are all faced with perfectly. When you have so many paths that they begin to blend together, then there is no path at all. It's almost as if the road we are on is more like a giant parking lot that stretches as far as the eye can see. So where do you go? You'll probably follow whatever direction that your childhood experiences pointed you in, or fall in line with the nearest group of people. And if they are walking to hell, you might not know it until it's too late. Or maybe you will start feeling the heat and then break free and turn around. But ultimately, we often find ourselves wandering aimlessly through the wilderness of life, never really having a sense of direction until we bump into something painful, and that's what redirects us over and over and over and over, like human pinballs. This is an idea that hits very close to home for me, as well, as I've always been the type to start a lot of things and finish very few of them, to have multiple ambitions and goals that often stand in contradiction with each other, or I spread my energy too thin across too many slices of bread. It's why it took me 4 years to publish my book. I had it sitting at 80% complete for 2 years. Or even find I've done this in my relationship with fitness. I've been all over the map since I quit playing junior hockey. Every couple of months I had a new interest: CrossFit, boxing, lift heavy, run barefoot, jiu-jitsu, yoga, Muay Thai, bodybuilding. One week I want to pack on size, and the next week I want to be shredded and lean, and one week I care about eating clean, and the next week I don't. It's like I flick through these channels, never remaining on one channel long enough to finish a single episode and understand the story. I have bits and pieces to several different puzzles, but you can't make out what any of them are. A jack of all trades, master of none type of behavior, which I guess is not the worst thing. At the end of the day, these are all behaviors and activities that align with my value system of physical fitness, and versatility is something that I like about my relationship with my physicality. So I can definitely consider myself successful to that degree, but I also know that I have never truly applied myself in any one direction. Ergo, I never ended up competing in CrossFit. I never got into the cage or the ring. I have never tried to work up to a 500-pound deadlift. And all of that is perfectly fine. But it just goes to show that if you try to run 5 different races at the same time, you won't cross any finish lines. You can still become a good runner. You can still enjoy running. But if you want to win a race, you must pick a race to run. This self-discovery is one of the reasons why I finally worked up the courage to start competing in jiu-jitsu this year. I found myself looking back on the past decade of my life with a feeling of frustration that I have never applied myself to things that I really think that I could have been good at, that I could have excelled at, nor have I truly placed myself in a position to fail and to humble myself. But maybe this has been a way that I cope and make excuses, a way that I can be relatively skilled at things without ever meeting my limits and failures. Because if I never really try, then I never really fail. And then I can also look back on my life and convince myself that the only reason I didn't make it to the pros or that I didn't become successful at this or at that is simply because I didn't try. But now I can sit on the couch and tell myself that I could have been the best if I had wanted to. The ego loves to believe such fantasies. So maybe I piled my plate full of dreams and goals in a way to look like I am hardworking and ambitious, while also sabotaging all of them and avoiding my fears of both failure and success. Side note, fear of success is an interesting one as well, because what if you do succeed? If you successfully begin to move in a direction of your choosing, that would mean that you have to leave a lot of the things that you are currently attached to behind. Now, we cannot go backwards and change all of the paths that we have taken that have led us to this point, but we can still apply the lessons that we have learned along the way, along with this new idea of narrowing our focus to great efficacy. We all have things in our lives that we would like to change, and we have far more power to change them than we realize. Something that I have been coming to realize is that a person can achieve the damn near impossible if they simply choose to stop making excuses and make the impossible the only option. The definition of integrity means whole and undivided. You hear that? Undivided. And it is written, a man who walks in integrity walks securely. I truly believe that if you practice integrity towards your goals, as long as they align with your deepest values, you will find success and a sense of purpose. So let me ask you again, if you had to pick one dream and abandon all others, what dream would you choose? Picture your ideal life, your ideal self, your ideal relationships 5 to 10 years from now. Is that a picture that your current self habits and behaviors fit into? Maybe it's time to focus your energy into a more singular direction and move towards it fearlessly. Become a disciple of it. Stop giving your energy to unimportant things. And remember, the true way is narrow and only few find it. So if you see everyone else doing it, you're probably going the wrong way. One last thing though, you have to be careful with this power. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying anything along the lines of, oh yeah, you need to quit your job that pays your bills and keeps a roof over your head to go all in one direction on your side hustle or anything like that, because honestly, statistically, your side hustle is more likely to fail if you do that. So there's that. If you enjoyed this topic and conversation and you have some of your own perspectives and opinions, questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them below.